Hey adventurers, welcome back. I'm Phoenix, and today we're going to be talking about Mainframe's new update for Pax Day coming out on Thursday, March 13th. And just to give you a quick snapshot, this is not a feature and content-rich patch. It is a quality of life patch. There are some features that are being added, but essentially it is a quality of life patch. So if you're wondering if this was a new content patch that you can come back for, I would say hold off and wait until verse 3. That's when you're going to see the most content coming out this year, I think, beyond whatever we get for launch. I expect verse 3 to probably arrive sometime around summer, maybe autumn. We'll see. Anyways, quality of life. Let's talk about what's coming up. So Mainframe has teased things like the compass, which is coming in this patch, and I don't know how I feel about that, but I just wanted to really highlight the fact that it's neat that Mainframe is giving us the opportunity to toggle this on or off. I prefer having a very clean UI, so I'm not sure if I'll use this all that often unless I'm looking for something at a market stall, and we're going to talk about that later. This next update is also going to include the building changes that were highlighted in a post a few weeks ago. And ultimately, the changes are going to help simplify and create consistency between the building recipes and the crafting recipes that are out there. Now, it may feel like a little bit of a nerf to crafting, and I actually also think it will impact gathering depending on recipe requirements. Unfortunately, we won't really know for sure what the impact is going to be, but those particular changes, as you can see here, are ultimately something we're going to see. But as you can see, there's a whole post dedicated to some of the building changes. So if you haven't seen this yet, I would highly recommend it. For example, the wooden pegs are going to be going away. So there's some new building pieces that are also going to be introduced. And ultimately, this is going to shake things up a little bit, I think. All right, back to our Market Square Part 3 updates. Discord voice chat is being introduced, so not only do we have regular chat now, but we have voice chat and they're Discord integrated, which objectively speaking is pretty neat. I'm not sure that I will probably use it all that much unless I do end up joining some of these dungeon runs that are going on around me, but as a solo player, I'm probably just going to stick to the regular chat. I did see interesting, I'm not going to play the video behind me on the screen here, but you can see the clan voice chat goes up to 32 players. So that's pretty interesting. And then of course you got your party voice chat of 6 players. Now let's talk about the meat and potatoes of, of the Market Square Part 3 update. So again, we're kind of rounding out the Market Square updates with Part 1 and Part 2 already being done. Now we're getting Part 3. And with Part 3, specifically about the market stall, we're getting the new variant. So I absolutely love the variation here. I can't wait to see some of these pop up. And ultimately, hopefully, we'll have a few more variations as well. The market stall is also receiving an update to the search and sorting options. So this apparently will apply to both the local stalls, so the stall that you're visiting directly, or the Heartland Market, which is something we'll talk about in just a second. So the sorting options will include price, quantity, lifetime, etc. And then as we move into the Heartland Market or the Heartland browsing option, it seems like we're getting this option here that fits in line with being able to see what is available across an entire home valley. Now, I am expecting that it will only be active, in other words, market stalls that have an active item being sold, which, I mean, that's logical, right? Why would you list a bunch of stalls that have nothing on them? Anyways, so the Heartland browsing sounds like you'll be able to access it through the tab or the I menu. And ironically, this is something that I had kind of drafted up as a mock-up. So I had expected to be something like this, where you're opening up your inventory and then there's a button at the top for markets and then you just open it. Now, I have a few other mock-ups of some of the market plans that I had, so I was a little invested in this aspect of the game because I'm curious to see how it is truly implemented. And one of the aspects that I really actually appreciate and connects back to the compass is that you can set a waypoint to a particular market stall once you identify the stall you want to buy from. Now, when we're talking about the Heartland market, I expect this to basically just be a list of all of the stalls that are in the home valley that have items for sale. So process that. A list of all the stalls that are actively selling something. And then from that, I would expect to be able to select a specific stall and then see its distance and see what items are available, etc. Plant your waypoint at that point. But we don't really know what it's going to look like, so it's still kind of left up to our imagination. Anyways, all right, so back to our Market Square Part 3 update. We're getting a bunch of new, not a bunch, sorry. We're getting a few new emotes, including saluting, cheering, dancing, yay. I think dancing is actually supposed to be like a continuous emote, so that'll be interesting. And then we'll get to see the sitting animations finally, which we saw quite a while ago now. And ultimately, I think this is going to contribute to some level of RP and immersion, so that'll be interesting to see. And then we get to the second to last update here, and I had to think about this one for a little bit because I'm not sure how I feel about it. I do know how I feel about it, I should say, but I'm not sure that I'm probably in the minority. So when you're going out to gather items, essentially you take all the tools you have with you, and instead of having to equip them to your hotbar or equip them whatever, you just run up to the node, and then the node, once you start interacting with it, will just pull out the tool that is required for the job. And this feels a lot like Guild Wars 2 or New World, in that you basically you just have these items and then you just use them. And I could see this actually progressing to something like New World, where you have kind of a separate equipment tool belt where you just equip those specific tools and then you just use them. And I like this because it takes the items out of my inventory. But this first iteration, you go up to a node, you interact with it, whether it's a tree or an ore deposit. The tool is equipped, you gather the resource until it's done, or you theoretically probably run out of stamina, one of those two. And then you stop and switch back to the equipment you had previously been equipped. So it'll be interesting. I'm reserving my judgment. I think I'll actually like this, but I'm hoping that it progresses further than that. So I'm curious what you think about. Do you think we should have a separate equipment tool belt for our tools, and that we can just basically kind of do what we do with our armor, throw it in there, and then we just run up and do these things? Or do you think they should be an item that lives in your inventory? So there's your question. Anyways, as we round out the update for Thursday, we're getting the Unreal Engine 5.4 update, and hopefully this will add some visual performance improvements. I know some folks are still having some issues with performance, so hopefully that will address some of those concerns. All right, well, adventurers, thank you for your time today. If you've made it this far, I have to say I'm still cautiously optimistic about Pax Dei's future. I think Mainframe is working hard to deliver based on the roadmap that they've given us. And as you look at that objectively, they're checking a lot of those boxes off. So again, cautiously optimistic. That's the approach that I'm taking. That's the approach I encourage you to take. And ultimately, as we round out this video, hopefully the update goes well on Thursday for you, for everybody. And until next time, until our next video, until our next meeting, we'll see you on Discord, friends. Take care.